Why do you scream at me? Why do you think that it's free? It's not a choice made by me. Once we fall, soon you'll see. When I looked into your eyes, I can see we need to change our lives. Let me in, then we both win. But not knowing that you're killing me. This silence, it's building, tearing me fearfully. This silence, it's building, tearing me. I'm screaming.
Welcome to the Sunday Night hanging right here on Sundays. I'm Ben. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. Speaking of welcoming back, I have my good friend, tone guru, Mr. Pedals himself, Lawrence Petross, chief bottle washer and designer, and everything else in between over at LPD Pedals. Welcome back, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ben. Been a while.
Yeah, well, you've been busy. Global domination takes up a lot of time.
This is very true.
Yes. Wow, we've already got a bunch of people in the chat. We've got, let's see, we've got Ferd Burfel, Randy Crooks, BC Rich 581, Thomas Santiago. Someone hacked you on Facebook. So I saw. Hip Metal Works, Paul McNary and the Cats, Ryan Hall, Graphite and Cigars, Dave Chase, Brother John Duchesne, James Hawking. Is this my speaker? Good to see you, my friend. Stephen Douglas, James Hawking, Lionheart 70, JP Page 2. Wow, that's just flying. Scrolling back here, Jason Lindholm's here, Symmetry, Mickey Settlemeyer. Unfucking believable. He's, as I said earlier, I promise not to invade the stream nor give anything away. I have an NDA with Lawrence. And the man sticks to his convictions because we even had him on a private Zoom call. We're like, come on. He's like, nope. Come on. Nope. And I said, well, this one I already know about. And I literally described the layout. And he says, and he still wouldn't show off the name. He's like, this. He's like, what? That. Yes. And that's fine. That's fine. Lawrence Cash is here. Gretch Zeppelin, Rob Baker, John Landino, Jeff K. Good to see all of you. Let's see who else we got in here. My Knees Hurts here. Awesome. Terry's 3Gs. Josh Tanberg. Dennis Ellis. Absolute Mayhem. Michael Kraus. Good to see you. Billy Baloney. Awesome. Mark Sevenson. Good to see you. All right. Yeah. Zach Thong in early as usual. OU812. Good to see Ryan in here. Terry Himes. Nice. Gary, 1952. All right. I'm just going to the bottom. This is just getting crazy in here. Look at that. 49 people already. Awesome. Awesome. Guitar Man 45 and T. Ricky. Perfect. Dan of New Jersey. We get to feature his pedal board tomorrow night on the Canucks show.
Excellent.
People love sending them in just to see the meltdown of me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who put the reverb second in their pedal chain. That one still haunts me. That one's... There's no wrong answers, they say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to each their own.
Yep. Here we are. So speaking of pedals, yes, we've had some lovely additions drop in the last year or so, some limited runs. We've seen some great, I was saying off air, Buddy was over today. Lucent, love it. Yep, I know. That was the one, yeah. And then I think I texted you the other day. I took one of them into the local music store there, and Buddy started just next thing I know, he's playing at stage volume, loosen into a Vibrolux with a Strat, and he's just making faces. And it was funny because employees, you could tell all the fellow guitar player employees because they're kind of coming out of the woodwork and they're getting a little closer. And, oh, I need to straighten this up. Oh. And then finally, can I try? Can I? Yes.
Enjoy.
And then the store manager came over and she was like, "Why are we doing this?" I'm like, "Because we may be carrying these here." And she said, "Oh, really?" Because she knows that I know pedal people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this guy isn't making the decision, but fooled her.
Yeah.
To which I tell everybody, go to your favorite retailer and type in searches for Lawrence's products. It helps.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, I'm not in Sweetwater yet, but keep searching, guys. Keep putting that.
Hey, Aljon. Good to see you, my friend.
All right.
Oh, and I should mention it before I forget. Tim Pierce had to reschedule. He'll be on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, not Tuesday. I'm not saying he's staying an extra day in New Mexico, but he couldn't do Monday show because he was driving back from New Mexico.
I'm not. That's gonna be a fun show.
That's gonna be a fun show. Oh, and also Michael Nielsen 1 week from tomorrow.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. I agree, Aljon. LPD pedals do rock. For me?
Thanks, Aljon.
Yes. And I'm curious, how many people in the chat have an LPD pedal currently? That was envy today. Someone's like, "Wow, you have a bit of an addiction." I went, "What? No." Yeah, well, almost as many Boss pedals. I said, "No. I have more LPD pedals than Boss pedals, as one should." Just saying. All right, we got a me. Nice. Oh, is that a question I see? As well. Easy Rich asked, Lawrence, ever consider doing anything rack mount, or is it too much work for too little market?
Yes, I've considered it. Actually, I would welcome the rack addiction to come back into vogue, because I could actually more easily do tube stuff in rack enclosures because it's more isolated. It's not on the floor. You can do the high voltage stuff. Yeah, I've been really itching to try to do tube pedals, and I've got designs, but it's difficult to make them, shall we say, litigation free.
Sure.
Yeah. So the designs we'll just have to wait. But yeah, I would, if they got popular again, right? If rack stuff got popular again, I think that would be
Hey,
definitely.
if Kramers are popular again, it's only a matter of time before rack gear is popular again.
I hope so. I think
everyone should have an 11 rack mini fridge in their room, and if we do, I've wanted as a guilty pleasure to pick up some rack gear, and I would love a rack mount 87. I'm just saying, a rack mount 87. That will be, because what is that? That's rack mount 87. Really? Yep.
That would be cool. That would be very cool. And 11 knobs is much easier to put on a rack than it is on a pedal. So
boom, boom. Yeah, perfect. John DeShane says he wants rack gear, but new versions of all the old cool stuff. Right? Can we add a few more bits than 8 is what we're asking for.
See, Rob Baker has asked, he says he has the 87. Is that your highest gain? Is that your highest gain pedal? And if not, what is more aggressive? Actually, the 87 is the highest gain, most aggressive LPD to date. I'll put to date.
I like that. I like that idea. I like that. James Hawking says he'd definitely buy a rack 87 Deluxe. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello,
we may be onto
Danes.
something. We may be onto something.
We may be. Well, I if nothing else, I can come up with some unique ideas for stuff that none of us need, but all of us want.
Right.
Which, hey, that's the whole point. That's the way I see it.
Right.
Ooh, nice combo. Lawrence Cash, a Soleil fuzz, and a nice drive A.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
DMAC has a few. Hey, there's Martin from L&M Guitar Corner.
Hello, hello.
Dan in New Jersey says, you'll see an LPD on my board tomorrow. Awesome. Which I do give bonus points for people that when they send in the photos. If they have an LPD pedal, that's bonus.
Nice. I think Dan has a Vermin, if I remember correctly. My memory sucks these days, but I seem to remember that. Maybe I'm wrong.
And thank you, Terry, for posting links on the channel. Everyone needs an ADA MP1 and a Furman PQ3.
I agree wholeheartedly. I have one of each, and not my first ones of each either. I think I've bought and sold those 2 or 3 times. This time I decided, no, I'm keeping it. It's just gonna stay.
I get it. I went looking for some rack gear a few weeks ago because there was a pawn shop that had some in the area, and all he had left was like 30 band EQs, and it's like, I don't want those.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It's true. I don't have any LPD pedals. I'm under an NDA.
You can say how many you have. That's not part of the NDA. You can say how many you have.
I think, nice.
Dare.
Jose Benito Martinez Jr. says, I have 10. Nice.
Excellent.
That definitely puts you up there in the, I'd say the 10% club. I think I'm hovering around Sweet 16.
Nice. I need to actually go through my records and see who's got the most.
Oh, I'm thinking it's a certain person over in Europe that seems to have.
Yeah, I think Jens probably has the most extensive collection because he's actually got 2 of everything, I think.
Yes, 2 of everything, including a lot of variants and.
Yeah, the old script stuff. He's got. Yeah. His collection is pretty nutty, actually.
Hey, Scott Brockway. Michael Cross says someone near him selling all the Rockman rack stuff, 4 units for $3,000. Oof. That's a lot of money to sound like you're playing through a Rockman. That's all I'm saying. As much as I love that tone.
It sounds a little expensive. There's a couple of companies that have I won't say re-release, but they make clones in pedal format. I've seen a couple of builders.
But it's one of those things. I'd like to have one, but it does that thing. But then I'm just going to sit here and play Hysteria, the 20-minute version.
Yeah, that's the issue, right? It's because it's such a signature sound.
Yes.
And we've all heard that album, over and over again. So that's really all. You pick it up and that's what you play. You turn on the clean sound and you play Hysteria. And you turn on the crunch sound and you play Hysteria. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope. Nice. Guitar Man 45 says still has a ton of rack gear from the 80s and 90s. I think 5 or 6 12-space Gator cases. Wow.
Nice. I'm not quite that heavy on that club, but pretty much. So I never got rid of any of my my touring stuff. So all my Mesa Boogie Rack stuff is still here, and I still have the ADA, the PQ3, the Quadriverb, the Alesis Quadriverb. Yeah.
Right back there.
Yeah.
Alesis Quadriverb. See, that's why I just need to get the rack out, which is load bearing currently. My rack case has got 2 amps sitting on it. Shows you how durable that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I use mine for furniture as well. So
I bought the Furman power conditioner bar deal that's rack mount, and I thought, well, there's an excuse to build a rack system. Now they got a power bar.
There you go.
It's the only excuse I need, really. Hey, Brad Guitar Miller. Scott Brockway's talking MXR stuff. Ooh, yes. Well, there's some nice MXR stuff. Find the vintage stuff.
Good pedals. Distortion Plus.
On Tone Talk on Friday night, they were selling a bunch of gear, and Dave was selling a vintage mini flange 2-knobber. And I was like, I want that. And then I realized I'm pretty sure that Memphis mini flange I have is the knockoff of that
It's the
pedal.
same,
So
yes.
I already have it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Charles asks, which LPD pedal does Lawrence use the most?
The real answer to that is whichever one is selling the most at the moment, because that's what I have to test every day. So that's the one I use the most. However, aside from that, I would say probably the 87 is that's my go-to for having fun. 'Cause I'm a metal guy. I'm an 80s metal guy, so
Probably
yeah.
same.
Yeah, I use that one.
Yeah, and I only say that because it's the 87 Deluxe, and because every time I come in here, it's 55, luster, green, red, just going up through the gain to eventually,
Right.
It's just the way it works. And
Yeah.
what's up, Mesa Guitar Guy? Good to see you, Mr. Anderson 59. He wants Dave's Jose modded Marshall. Yeah, no kidding. 74 Marshall modded by Jose. He says, let's start the bidding at 15 grand. I'm like, let's. I was like, fair price. I'm like, that's a fair price. Scary, but that's a fair price.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you don't. There's a few of them out there, but you don't see them very often.
Richard Fortis got 45 grand for his, but that is the McMars Richard Fortis one, so it's got some lineage to it.
Yeah.
What's up, Doug Santinello? Good to see you.
Billy Baloney's asking me what my favorite non-LPD pedal is.
Ooh.
That is a good question.
You have to think on that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello to Mark Taft. Hello to River Docs. We had
generally played
Doc on last week.
A lot of other stuff, but I am a big fan of the original amp tweaker pedals, specifically the what is it? The metal pedal. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it right now. Big. No, it's not the Big Rock Pro. That was pretty cool too. But
I'm gonna go with my MXR stereo chorus because that's been a key to the board for a while, for years at this point. So
yeah, that's a cool one. I had fun playing the new Soldano pedal. That was cool.
I'd like to try that out.
Yeah, it's got a fairly narrow sweet spot, but it's pretty good in that sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other pedals I've played lately. I haven't gotten an opportunity to play too many other brands lately. I do love a good original Tube Screamer. Can't go wrong with that.
Billy Balloon said, "Please don't say Tube Screamer."
Well, if you've got a nice old Fender and a Strat in hand, and you want to play some Stevie Ray Vaughan, that's kind of
it does the thing.
Does the thing.
Unbelievable. Now that supply issues are over for the most part, any problems getting parts?
That's interesting. The supply issues. They're not really over. There's still much difficulty getting parts. It's fairly sporadic. Example, there's one IC that I used that was super plentiful up until about 9 months ago, and now they're impossible to find. So yeah, and it's a fairly common chip. Nothing customer special made or anything like that. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's not too bad. Like, you know, when the shit hit the fan, I purchased 3 or 4 years worth of
you did.
of inventory. So I'm pretty good. Even as much as business picked up in the last couple of years, I'm still hanging pretty good with parts. So I don't have an issue getting them in. But when I go to look for them to to back up what inventory I have, I'm noticing which ones are out. A lot of the I've noticed a lot of microcontrollers are out. There was another one that I thought was really strange that it was out of production. They were long lead time. And I will say the lead times have gotten better. The lead times were this time last year. The lead times were a year out, and now they're only 6 months. So I think we're getting back to parity, but
slowly but surely. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's still kind of bumpy out there, but not awful for me. Yeah.
Nice. What's up, Boomer? Good to see you. Sean Hockey in here. Now this is a question I've heard in the past, but Rob Baker asks, I may have missed it if you talked about it earlier, previous live stream perhaps. Ever thought of doing an LPD tube amp?
An excellent question. Rob, he may not know. We talked about this in previous live streams, but I'll catch everybody up. I used to build custom tube amps, built custom tube amps in the early 2000s here in Phoenix area, and then switched everything over to pedals around somewhere between 2008 2010. I would. The handmade tube amp market is pretty small, and they go for lots and lots of money now. So maybe I wouldn't. I'll never say never. That might be an endeavor that I build. Limited runs of 5 or something, and do something like that.
Hey, Mark's gas station. Guitar Man 45 was asking, do you use places like Digitech or Ars Electronics for some of these parts?
Digitech. No. And RS Electronics, I think they're out of England, right? That's radio something. No, primarily I use Mouser here in the US, or Arrow or Allied. There's a handful of distributors here in the US that I go through, just depending on what I need and who's got the best price. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Radio Spares, I think is the RS that he was talking about. They're out of the UK, I think. I see T. Ricky says he thinks RS bought Allied. Very possible. Allied has been kind of flying under the radar for the last 6 years or so. They've not good prices, and they seem to have inventory, but not a lot of inventory. So it's possible that they've been purchased. I also use there's another UK company that has a branch, Newark.
Okay.
They're kind of my go-to when I can't find stuff. They seem to have it. And if they don't have it in the US warehouses, they have it in the UK warehouses. So yeah, last time I went looking for J201 FETs, they were the only place that had them. So yeah.
Gotcha. What's up, Tim Thomas? Martin's asking from L&M Guitar Corner, are you considering to sell pedal kits again at some point?
That's you know, I would like to be able to streamline that process to where I can offer 2 or 3 kits.
Mhm.
It is, unfortunately, it's such a labor demanding thing because you have to go through and sort all the parts into, you know, categories.
Yep.
Laying out the kit isn't it's not terribly difficult, right? And you know, building the instructions and all of
Mhm.
that, and you know, I've got an excellent write-up man in Brad Guitar Miller. He's the one that helped me do the instructions for the kit that I did at the beginning of the whole pandemic thing, early 2020.
Mhm.
So if I could find a way, or even one of my distributors that was willing to parse out the parts to where it's like, you know, each kit just had its own bill of materials, and I could say, yeah, fill 15 of these, and I get 15 separate bags full of parts.
Mhm.
I would love to offer
Sure.
do-it-yourself kits. Yeah, the next best thing would probably be to offer just the PCBs
Mhm.
and in the instructions. And there's lots of companies out there that are already doing that. You know, not, I don't know about pedal companies. I've seen a couple of pedal companies getting into the DIY or getting back into the DIY thing.
Mhm.
Is it Cooper Effects? They're doing
Okay.
some DIY stuff now. Just basic. I think they offer like a breadboard, and they may do like a simple loop volume pedal. You
Mhm.
know, input jack, output jack, and a passive volume knob in the middle, kind of a thing.
Which I can catch on fire. Just saying. We were discussing that earlier today.
Where did I have a feeling I know what happened, but where did you put that to catch it on fire?
It was at the start of my chain.
Really?
Yeah.
How did it happen?
I wish I knew. I really do. All I know is I was playing on stage. I smelled burning. I looked down. I'm like, well, what? And I'm like, it can't be the passive pedal.
There's nothing in it.
It stinks.
It was the passive pedal.
It was the passive. Yeah. A Specco, Italian-made cheap volume pedal.
Huh.
Yep. What's up, Boner Jams? Good to see you. The legend. Yeah.
Mr. Jams.
Only I could. It was funny because Richie was over here today, and he's like, "Is that the pedal?" I said, "Yep." He says, "I remember." He says, where was that?" And we're trying. He thought it was in the band we were playing in together, and I said, "No, your one band that you're in was opening for my band one night, and you were watching the set, and we quickly." But I think he may have ran up and bypassed it for me. But who knew?
That's interesting.
Hey, Matthew McCosker. Good to see you. Tim Thomas in the house.
Boomster Black. Am I saying that right? Yep. He asked me, what style of music do I listen to and or play? That's a pretty varied list depending on the mood that I am in. I think there's not... I don't listen to rap. Not that I no disparaging remarks against rap, just doesn't do anything for me. Most of the time I listen to like stuff that I listened to in high school, or, you know, just out of high school, or even when I was in music college. So, you know, 80s metal, for the music college stuff, a lot of fusion. I listened to a lot of fusion and funk when I was in music college. As far as playing goes, just about anything. Yeah, it just depends on the mood I'm in. I try to, when I sit down to practice, I try to run through this long list of tunes that I think are kind of the pinnacle for me in each style. So I try to keep sharp that way. You know, just, it's pretty easy to get rusty when you don't have 10 hours a day to practice. So
that's true.
Or even 2 hours a day to practice. So just trying to stay on top of that. But Yeah, clean stuff. I love to play some Brad Paisley country tunes for the clean stuff. Lately, I've been running through pretty decent vocabulary of Vinnie Moore tunes from the 80s, doing 3 or 4 songs off of Time Odyssey, I think is what I've been working on this week. Yeah, fun stuff. Just, try to, whatever I get time to do, try to do fun stuff. And I try to do stuff that still challenges me, so that I'm not just, hitting a handful of chords and a few of those, my most overused licks, like I do when I'm testing pedals and stuff like that. So, things just to kind of expand on that.
Sure.
But
I get it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yes, Surfer B, he got the name of my old band right, One Day to Live, which you hear in the intro video each week. Because how do you not get copywritten for music on intro videos? You own the copyright.
Use your own.
Because I'm like, I was like, who registered? I'm like, wait a minute, I registered this album with SoCan, so if anybody has a problem with it.
Well, and even then, sometimes, like I'll use my own music on my stuff, but since I published through, I think most of that stuff I published through CD Baby, I'll still get copyright notices. So they're filing copyright notices for my music against me.
Yeah.
So then I just go approve it. No big deal, right? But it's hilarious.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is the world we live in.
What did I see here? Scott Brockway. I see, I can say it, Scott. He was asking, do you have a favorite designer pre-90s?
As in pedal designer?
Yeah, favorite pedal designer pre-90s.
Pre-90s. Oof. Because that's far before the whole boutique thing.
Mm-hmm.
Boy. Not I have to say, not that I would have a name of the individual designers. I mean, I was always I was a Boss guy, starting out. Well, that's not true, actually. My first 2 pedals were Digitech pedals.
Okay.
Yeah, only because they were less expensive than the Boss stuff. They were okay, but as everyone knows from those old pedals, the foot switches go out on them,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had like 1 or 2. I think I had a Digitech Chorus, and maybe. Boy, what was the other? I'm trying to remember what the other one was. Nothing notable other than that Chorus. I used it quite frequently, and for a while I was using it as a splitter to run to 2 heads, and running 2 heads and 2 cabinets, one set kind of clean and one set really dirty.
Chorus pedal, the perfect reason to buy a second amp.
Yeah, right. And then I like most of the Boss stuff, and I say most, but really it's not most. I like the SD1, probably my favorite Boss pedal. The Blues Driver's a cool pedal, especially with Keeley mods. Mr. Keeley knocked that one out of the park. Trying to think of Ibanez Tube Screamer, the Ibanez delay, the pink delay. What is that? I don't know. Is it the D? What is it? Something 9. The pink delay pedal.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Did. But it was a 9 series. Yeah, I don't know, the pre-90s thing, because I was all rack gear then. I had actually moved from.
I'm going to say whoever was designing the MXR stuff would be my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I think even oh man, I'm just drawing blanks on company names today. They did there
was the Rockman stuff too, so I guess we could say Tom Schultz.
Yeah. Not pedals though,
No,
right? It was the mini
that's
rack,
true.
just the half rack space stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, somebody else asked me a question. I just saw it go
Hello
by.
to Blake Burris, and hello as well to Calvin Bess.
Yeah, I think Blake.
He was asking why the move to soft switching on the 87.
Yeah.
For all the worship bands running their 87s.
Yes.
That's the first time I heard that soft switching was an issue. Was the worship guys are like, "Can a fella get a?" Whereas I always went, louder is better for me. I want to hear that switch like a crack of thunder,
or feel it clunk, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, that was actually it. The praise and worship guys, they can't, because most of the time they're sitting on a hollow stage, and if it clunks, it goes donk. Every mic on stage picks it up, and it's usually that they're turning something on when it's quiet right before the song starts. Yeah. So the entire cathedral just goes. So
yeah, in a room designed to carry sound like nothing else.
All over, yes. So I like the soft touch switching for durability. I probably will never have to replace the soft touch switch on any of my pedals or the switching relays. They're good to millions of cycles. Nice. So for keeping pedals working and on pedal boards and in the field on tour, that's probably the best solution. But even like on the new CLE, it's got true bypass, and I did that just because limited run for one. So if it comes back as a production, it'll probably have soft touch switching.
Sure.
And in this case, the true bypass on the switch with the old switch was actually the easiest to implement because of the way that the designs are. So it just depends on the design. Pretty much the even though no, I guess the 74 and the 68 still have the clunk switch, still have the mechanical switch on them. Yeah.
What's up, Charles Green? Legend.
John Shane says he hates latching switches. Simple statement. I hate latching switches.
John is he's straightforward. That's what we love about him.
They always look at me wrong.
Hey, Rob Cunningham says I have to check out that 87 pedal. Yeah, it's right up your alley, Rob. Speaking of which, Rob will be on in 2 Sundays from now. We have RJ Ronquillo next Sunday, and then Rob Cunningham following Sunday.
Always good to have Rob.
And then Sean Pierce Johnson, and then Charles 75 and Randy Crooks, and then April. Because somehow I've managed to book a month out. I don't know how.
Brad Guitar Miller says he uses his 87 in church.
You would, Brad, and that's why we love you.
Says it has some magic.
Yep. Ooh, which of your pedals would be best for early Aerosmith/Kiss tones?
Boy. That's a tough one. I think you could probably coax it out of the 55, the 68, or the 74. 74 is going to be a little higher gain. For
Sweet emotion kind of sound. Okay.
I would say
I'm just thinking the 87 for me. I'm thinking green channel for the Aerosmith, and I'd probably low gain red for Ace Frehley tone, because he always used a boost in front of his Marshall of some kind. Some say it's a big muff. Some people just say it's the line booster. But either way, he's boosted. You can hear it.
Yeah, I think the 55 would do pretty good with Sweet Emotion.
That's true too.
Because it's got the low end is a little looser, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that would be good. The 87, the 87 does so many good things. So many things good, I think is a better way to put that. Just turn the gain down. That's the big thing with the 87 is it's got a reputation for being a high gain pedal, so people run the gain up on it. But if you run the gain lower and turn the bright switch off, it purrs really nicely in that edge of breakup range. So plus it's got the full tone stack, so if you want it brighter, make it brighter. If you want it darker, make it darker. Yep. Mids, add some mids. Yeah.
Hey, superfan Gary Davlin in the house. Ooh, here's an interesting one. Which LPD pedal has been the most difficult and rewarding to design and build?
Oh man,
that's interesting.
Yeah. The CLE was actually was somewhat difficult. It was, there are easy births and there are difficult births, right? And it doesn't necessarily matter, as far as I can tell, on the complexity of the circuit. It just depends, really. The CLE was it was a challenge in getting the compressor exactly how I wanted it to be. The funny thing is the EQ came together fast, really fast. The EQ boost came together fast and easy. It was a matter of just sitting down and dialing in the perfect frequency and how wide I wanted the Q of each band to be so that the overlap was nice and smooth, and it affected the guitar frequency exactly where I wanted it to. Where, we all love to hear when you turn a tone knob, it should be right there. It shouldn't be over here a little bit, right? It's like, wow, that would be really cool if it wasn't sucking all of the half of the bass out when you did that. So getting that right, that actually came together pretty quick. The compressor, since it's an optical compressor, I had to do a lot of trial and error with the optical component until I found the right one. And then I had to, I probably spent 4 months just trying to find a source for the optical units where I could do the 25 of the units that I made. The problem, the interesting story is I'd gotten a grab bag of LDRs from Electronics Gold Mine or one of those they're like big lots for electronics.
Okay.
Right? And in this grab bag were probably there was at least 100 LDRs, but there was probably at least 20 different kinds in there. And so I just went through and tried as I would go and found one that had the exact. LDRs are interesting in that they all have part number to part number. They all have a different amount of time it takes for them to come on, and a different amount of time for them to turn off. And the turn on and turn off time are always different on the part. So you might have one that comes on fast and turns off slow, or comes on slow, turns off slow. Anyway, so I found the right one, and then they don't have part numbers on them. So then I just had to go through catalogs and see if I could find ones that look the same,
right?
Same thickness, same diameter, same grid. It was kind of a nightmare, but I found a place that had a supply of them and bought 50. And so that part of that circuit was trying, but only because I wanted to get it exactly just so. I was being a real bug about it, which is fine because it turned out fantastic. So really happy with that one. The other one, the new, I'll do a reveal here for Q1's limited release. This one, and I'll do a quick pass by. This is not the one. This is a prototype. The release type is still being worked on, but
ooh.
So
nice.
Yes, a little flyby there.
More to flyby the unbelievable gives me. I'm just saying.
That
Usually I
one,
get a picture of a housing and that's it. And he's like, yep.
that's it. Yep.
Yep. Thanks.
Picture the front door and
Yep.
yes. So the circuit on the Dutch Squared has been together and happy and sounds beautiful for probably almost a year now. The switching on it has been more difficult. It's because it's just kind of because of what I want it to do. Rather than have the switching like is on the 87 Deluxe, where you've got active bypass on the left and channel on the right, what I wanted it to do, because it stacks as well as ABs, what I wanted it to do was have, in stack mode, they're independent, so that doesn't matter. But in the AB mode, what I wanted was when you turn right side on, right side comes off. When you step on the left side to turn it on, the right side turns off at the same time as the left side comes on, and vice versa, which is easy enough to do radio button style. But then to tap the button again and get that same channel to go off. So that's been a little bit of a challenge. I've figured out a way to do it using Logic. Logic chips and doing that, and it works good. And then just recently I have moved over to trying to do it with microcontroller and code. So and it's been probably a year and a half since I've done any coding, so that's taken me
I
a
was
while
going
to
to say, I remember years ago, I'm never going to do anything digital. It's going to be strictly analog. I'm like, yeah, give it a little time.
Well,
but
the switching system, which hardly anyone pays attention to anyway, because if it's working, right? Players only pay attention to the switching system when it doesn't work right.
Yeah.
So you get no accolades or awards for having a beautiful switching system, regardless of the number of hours you put into it, because it works and nobody cares.
Right.
And that's okay. That's that's fine. Just knowing that it works and I'll never get one back because it doesn't work, that's more than enough.
That's fine.
Reward for me.
I'm going to welcome Holly in here, Rock Daddy, Fruitcake Tony. I saw jump in here. We got 98 people watching. Awesome. Please leave a thumbs up if you haven't already. Helps us out. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get one of those Dutch Squared. Dare I say, retire the Lost Dutchman for now? For now.
Yeah, put it in a plexiglass case.
Yep. Well, it's one of the original stuff.
It's unique. There weren't too many of those. I think there were only 25, maybe 30 of those.
I think so.
That was prior to me doing the moving up to 50 units when I did limited. So.
Ooh, do you think there's a market for a slash in a box pedal? Interesting.
There is. I think. I mean, he's a pretty influencing player. A lot of people from I like Slash. I like him as a player, but he was not influential to me because of my generation. I was earlier than that. Randy Rhoads.
Jay Steen commenting he has the first Dutch. He has the Dutch number one.
Like,
yeah, I'm really tempted to pull mine off the pedal board just to see what it says inside. So half the time, mine are kind of like RJS at times, proto and stuff. I'm just saying, folks.
Yeah, interesting. But like the generation that came after mine, like he was a huge influence. So I think it's probably definitely a market for it. And there are a couple of companies out there that make really great slash in a box pedals. Pedal Pal is one. They're what is it? The Pal 800. Is that the one? I think that one's got their new version, or maybe it's the Carrera. One of their new pedals is it has like, you know, the 34 mod switch on it, so you can do like the use your illusion sound, and then the slash switch on the other side for the appetite sound, or it's vice versa. I can't remember which one.
Yes, I remember, Terry. Yeah, MXR Dunlop did some slash pedals. I remember.
Yeah.
Remember that. Yes, Jay Steen. Yes, you would have the first, the Dutch.
He's got the Dutch, yeah, not the Lost Dutchman. Yeah.
Blake says, I still feel like Slash still coasts on early GNR nostalgia. Well, no one's coming out to listen to the later stuff, that's for sure. They want to hear the first couple albums, or 3, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and that's I think that happens with anyone who builds a brand, right?
Oh yeah.
Your whatever you become most well known for, that, you know, that period of time, it's going to be hard for you to move beyond that with a lot of your audience, because
all right, not numbered Lost Dutchman, not numbered, but dated, and the very rare and elusive battery clip inside of a LPD pedal. I'm just saying. I have 2 pedals now that I know of that have battery clips in them, because one was specifically added as a one-off.
Yep. Yeah, there's not too many battery clips in LPD pedals.
Yes. So, yeah, when I was fixing the switch there, when it decided to go on me, not his fault. Then I remembered that live stream in 2019. I spilt the beer on this right on air.
Excellent.
Blake says, do you guys have any Phil McKnight stories? Yes.
Yes. Well, the one that we share is meeting at NAMM, right? 2019. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So you and Philip walking around. JJ and myself were walking around, and man, we had like a nice 45-minute conversation, which was awesome. I totally ignored you, and I shouldn't have. I said no. I should. I talked to you for probably 5 or 7 of the 40 minutes.
Well, I mean, here's one thing to really know: when you're hanging out with Phil, right? You're just hanging out with Phil. No one's going to come up to talk to you. They're going to come up to talk to Phil because everybody knows Phil. That's cool, right? You say hey, catch a few questions here and there if you can.
Well, and the funny part, like I remember talking to you in Phil's chat previously, but then not putting 2 and 2 together necessarily at that moment. And it's like, oh, right, you build pedals, not thinking, you know, because pedal overload that day.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything overloaded now.
There was Dylan Washburn from Flipside Music. Speaking,
Hey,
he knows his pedals. He knows. Good to see Dylan.
L&M is asking me if I'm going to be at NAMM this year. That would be a no. That would be a no. Not for the pedals, not for Spectator. They're doing it. Is it? It's in Anaheim again, right?
Yep. Mid-April.
Yeah.
There will be a presence there. And Dylan, Ike has a place to crash. That's been taken care of. Aaron, our friend Aaron from Albus Band, has secured a hotel room for a week. Fortunately, somebody canceled in one of the nearby hotels, and he was able to snag it up at a decent rate. So, and Ike was talking about coming out for, I think, just a day or so he can crash in Aaron's room, no problem. I like that. Unbelievable says custom LPD amp, still considering commissioning it. I can see that. There's Paul Leonard Ewing, Stompbox Steels.
Vintage Six String is asking if the Cocapelli would ever make a comeback. Never say never. It's one of my favorite pedals. It's just finding a good design to bring it back as.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Dwight? Josh is saying, for my first LPD, torn between the 68 and the Deluxe. Help me out.
I almost always recommend the Deluxe if you got the extra cash to be able to afford it. It's 3 times the pedal that the standard is. It's got both gain channels from the original. The red higher gain channel and the green channel, as well as the pre-gain independent boost. Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't have all those features because I just have the original. That's just one channel of plexi awesomeness.
And that's you've got the standard, right? Because does it have the toggle switch?
Nope. No, yeah, and I believe this was your last original housing.
Yeah, that's the standard. That's a late script model standard.
Yeah, this was like you said. You're like, do you mind if I use an old housing? I'm like, not at all. If anything, because you're like, I have one left. I just want to get rid of it. I'm like, I don't care. I'm pretty sure you had already rebranded at that point. And I'm just like, again, no problem. And I like the fact this is so plexi-like because I have a dickens of a time getting a good tone out of this. And I can't play through a plexi. I played through actual plexi heads. I can't get a good tone out of one. I wish I could. I really wish I could until I find that sweet spot. And I'm like, there's Ben's spot, which I'm not showing. Well, okay, there it is. Yeah. That's my sweet spot.
Yeah, so the original, like the one that Phil has, it's got the 2 channels and the toggle switch right in the center of all 4 of the knobs. That's the big difference with that. And then that was discontinued and split into 2, into the standard, like the one that you have, and then the deluxe, which is the purple one that's the same size as those. See, Brad Guitar Miller is asking me, I think I asked you before, but can you convert 68 Deluxe to independent boost? Chances are good that I can. It depends on the version of the board that's inside. For a while they were either or, and then I changed the board and converted it to, it's just a jumper and 3 caps to make it independent. So just depends on which version of the board is on the inside. Should be doable.
Nice. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people tell me how to play plexi. Just dime it. Sure. Let's see here. Martian Murray says, how about shoegaze in a box? Yes, if Lawrence ever brings back the luster. That's my shoegaze.
Is that your shoegaze? You have a luster, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I have a hayseed and not a luster.
Oh, yes, yeah, right. You've got like.
Well, actually, I have faceplates for both, but I refuse to put them on because I love the idea of the bare metal enclosure only. So, because that's the ultimate rig rundown douche pedal. Oh yeah, I got this guy in Arizona. He made because I needed a thing, right? Oh, okay. John Bollinger just shaking his head at me. Because it might as well be John that comes out to do the rig rundown. They'll send out the yay guy, you know. I'm okay with Perry coming out myself. I know Perry. But also shoegaze in a box. Oh, you don't make that anymore. All right. Never mind. I was going to say the modern classic.
Yeah.
It's great because you can do that dual clean dirty thing, which is great for texturing.
Yeah.
If not, 55. You don't need much gain for shoegaze. Yeah.
Just some grind, right?
Mm-hmm. Unbelievable says flanger, vibe.
Flanger, probably not. Probably not. Well, never say never, but probably not. The vibe, I spent about a year on a vibe design without going to, I was trying to get away from having to use the incandescent bulb and the LDRs, and it got close but not close enough to me, so it got shelved. Should I decide to revisit, I'll definitely let everybody know, but for the time being, it's on the back burner.
Exactly, Martin. Yes, the Lester Hayseed, should mention, is an AC30 in the box, essentially. It's awesome. So much
Yeah.
chime.
I do love that pedal.
That with the middle position with humbuckers. Oof. Oh, so good. And I agree, Scott. It's hard to beat an MXR flanger. Josh, do we get a discount for dropping Ben's name when ordering? Well, you should sign up for the email list because, there was a coupon code that went out on Friday.
That's true. Hey, I'll share that because until midnight my time, it's still active.
Yeah, so there you go. Josh, thanks for bringing that up, actually.
Yeah, boy, I don't remember what it is. It's something like Flash Friday 02/2023, I believe is what the code is. You gonna try it for me, Ben? See if that.
I was going to say, I believe it's still sitting right there in my inbox, is it not?
I can't get to it because I don't think I have my email open here. Let's look.
There. Let's go here. There it is. Wow, that's, yeah, okay. So, all caps. Whoops. What? I just hit a button and I don't know I made full screen. How do I get it to full screen on StreamYard? Oh, there we go. Never hit that button before. All right, so. There.
Oh,
Hey, there's Quentin James. We're getting more submissions for the rating of stuff for tomorrow night. Yes, it's a Monday thing, Ryan. Let's see here. Zach Thong says, one of my favorite guitar players and the drummer from Durham region is moving to the area. Nice. And then Terry's saying, second link I posted goes to all the social stuff. Nice. Hey, there's L. Scott Music. How familiar with all music genres do you... Wait a minute here. As a pedal designer, how familiar with all music genres do you have to become? Many hours of listening to different music?
Well, it depends on what you want to do, obviously. Or maybe not so obviously. For me, it's indispensable. I think all of my years of listening to the different varieties of music and my recording studio experience, running sound, I think all of that has really made a huge difference to the final design and what you guys hear and more specifically feel when you play LPD pedals. That said, I mean, that's fine. And that's my thing. But if you're going to build pedals and you want to, build a specific thing that you say you love, let's go shoegaze. Say you love shoegaze and you spend a year of your life or 2 years of your life tinkering with the circuit until you get what you consider to be the perfect shoegaze tone in a box, and you market that and build your company around it, and you have one product. That's fine. There are lots of companies out there that only have one product. First one that comes to mind is 1981 inventions, right? The DRV pedal. He has one pedal, and it sells like crazy, and it's very popular, and he has a hugely successful business. So while it's definitely helped me, if you chase whatever it is your favorite thing is, you've already done all the listening, right? Because you've listened to that music, thousands of hours. You know it intimately because it's your favorite thing. So it just depends on what you want to do. Again, I think it's highly valuable if you want to do a variety of things that are convincing, right? Things that are they're dialed in and it definitely helps for that. But I don't think it's a necessity. Yeah, I don't think it's a necessity. And I mean, there plenty of people out there that you know, when they started making pedals, maybe their ears weren't that good, but the more you do, the better you get. So
sure.
Yeah.
Josh says, word discount code work, deluxe ordered. Nice. You'll enjoy it, Josh. Donald Fisher. Hello, Donald. Hey, guys. I'm just in, so sorry if you had asked this question. Didn't. What do you think about the Marshall reissue of the Blues Breaker pedal? I like that Marshall's reissuing their pedals. They're building them in-house in the UK, which was funny as, again, Richie came over today and he ranted about, Marshall boys, you see the price on those cheap Vietnamese, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, they're actually made in the Marshall factory in the UK. All right, I retract my rant. It's not a bad price, considering. I'm like, yeah, they're trying to build them as close to original spec as possible, so.
Yeah.
I can't fault them for that.
No, and it's hard to build things inexpensively without going abroad to do so. That's hopefully should be just a well-known fact. Now, I mean, just take a look at the difference between Celestion speakers that are made in the UK and Celestion speakers that are made in China. You know, the Chinese ones are the price that we expect to pay, the $100 a speaker, $125 a speaker, and the UK ones are like $350 a speaker. You know, they're like double, triple the price. So, yeah, that's economics. I mean, what do you
exactly?
For me, I think Marshall has. I love Marshall, obviously. Obviously, I love Marshall. As a product, I love Marshall. As a company, they make my head hurt sometimes because they're late to the punch on a lot of things. Reissuing the JCM 800 is a classic example, right? That was like, you guys waited like 20 years too long. You should have, you know, everybody has already modded them, and there's all of these boutique amps are now built on the platform of JCM 800s, and it's the same. It's the same thing with the series that they just re-released. That's not to say they're going to sell them all. They'll sell them all, but it just seems like they're just a little late to the game on it. I mean, the boutique builders have had a heyday with the Blues Breaker, and the what's the Sir Riot is built after. So it's the MI Audio Crunchbox, right? Right. There's lots of boutique builders have taken those basic circuit designs and expanded on them and tweaked them, and yeah. I don't know, as a reissuing, yeah, they'll sell out.
I may or may not have sourced out a Sir Riot pedal on Friday night. I'm just saying. I have a clone of one. I really like it pushing the 87, so I contacted the guy. I'm like, I need a Sir Riot pedal. Do you have an extra one? He's like, I think so. I was like, come on, you're a Sir artist. Of course you have one. I'm not going to say who it was, but you guys can fill in the blanks. Just saying. Quentin James says, why did Marshall never sign EVH? Because they did not have endorsed artists at the time.
I know.
Because, again, another thing Marshall should have been doing in the 80s.
Yeah. It kind of, and I'm not talking down about Marshall or anything like that, but it does kind of seem like they're not necessarily, I won't say, don't want to say that they're not forward thinking, but the way their marketing comes off, it's not that way to me. Right. That I don't think they've ever been ahead of the curve. Right. So, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, that's Marshall. And with the products that they released, like the Studio series that when they had like the 20 watt 800 and the 20 watt Plexi and right. Yeah. Great idea. Kind of late to the game, though.
Yeah.
So,
hey, other left. Good to see you, my friend. Nice. Marshall codes. Yeah, wrong. And yes, Richard Nagamitsu mentions there's small independent shops on Reverb that make some amazing pedals. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. RJ, the Mad One. I have my own reverb shop. Pedley is a separate shop. He is a dealer that I have here in Scottsdale. Great guys. I highly recommend purchasing from them. You free shipping. A lot of times you'll get
I could see where you would think it was Lawrence, though. I get that.
Yeah.
I've been
From the
confused at times.
Same basic area. Yeah, a lot of times you'll get free cable, free shipping, and they donate to Guitars for Vets. So I highly recommend shopping with Pedley.
Bo, we had just talked about the Marshall reissue pedals that came out. Scroll back 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm thinking he stepped away for a moment. John, I did not ask about your guitar from him. I will, though. I will, just out of spite. Oh, something else I was going to mention. I can't remember what it was now. It's not terrible. Let's see if something jogs the memory.
Don't see any other questions, right?
Brad Miller says PRS was late to the pedal market, but they can't keep them in stock. Well, it's because you PRS owners are all super religious about that. I'm just saying.
And the PRS designs were their pedals were cool, right?
Yep.
They're named provocatively as well. So that always helps. PRS marketing game is pretty strong, so you can't take that away from them. It's not like when Fender releases a group of pedals and blinds everyone with ultra bright LEDs.
Okay, I didn't mind the higher end ones somewhat with the bright LEDs, but was the cheap ones all with that cheap gray crackle finish and just different colored knobs, but we don't have enough different colored knobs for the different pedals, so half of them are yellow and half are blue and some green and reds thrown in. Oh man, this looked cheap. Oh, no thank. Oh, I know what it was. LRM Guitars had asked if you're a one-man operation.
Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I wear all the hats.
All the hats, including.
Yes.
Charles told me. He says you got to lower the chair or raise the camera. Got to get the logo on it.
Got to get the logo in.
Charles is looking out for us. We appreciate that, Charles.
Yeah. For me, it's I'm too much of a stickler for quality going out the door to share responsibilities at this point anyway. One day it'll have to happen, but for now, no, just one man shop, just me.
We're just waiting for that young disciple to knock on the door and says, "Teach me the ways. I want You're like, oh, you're one of us. Come in, my son, and then we can double production." And Dylan says apparently those Fender pedals sound about as good as they look. Yeah. Perfect. I had a feeling.
Yes.
I had a feeling. Unbelievable last question for Lawrence. Still have the Fender Strat Plus? I do.
My 1994 that I purchased at the guitar shop in downtown Old Town Scottsdale in 1994. I do still have it.
Will do, Zach.
The guitar shop's no longer there, but I still have the guitar.
Nice.
And I just posted a picture of it on my Instagram on yesterday.
I saw that Lawrence Cash has asked this twice, and I'll anything recommended close to Laney Supergroup?
Not from me that I'm aware of. I need to do more listening to that pedal to be absolutely sure, but nothing from LPD at the moment that would get you there.
I think he's suggesting we need something for those Black Sabbath tones, apparently.
Yeah.
I get it. And then I know Dylan would be like, we'll stock 3 of them in at Flipside because
maybe
Dylan likes his Sabbath tones.
Yeah.
So. Let's see here. Josh says, if you're into rockabilly music, I am, and such, check out my cousin's bar in Scottsdale, Rips Bar and Ales. I would like to check that place. I like rockabilly. Dylan says we do very well with that one in Denver. Exactly. So.
Oh, Brad Guitar Miller is Well, Brad, it is not a deluxe. It's actually a custom. And
Look at that.
happen to have it sitting right here.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And you can't see the patina on the heads or the checking on the headstock, but it's that's a nice one. I that's my latest, is it? Yeah, I think that's my latest acquisition. I got that in just before Christmas. Nice. I found it's a 94, same as my black one.
Mm-hmm.
Centennial.
Yep.
Yeah, took me. It's probably looking for that one for a year and a half, maybe a little longer.
Nice.
Before
okay, Guitar Man 45. Next Zoom call, I accept that challenge. He says, "Oh, I can challenge that." Bo is famous for that. Someone will show off a guitar on the Zoom. He says, "Oh yeah, like this," and he'll pull out another beautiful example of it. I'm like, "Jeez, okay."
Nice. Yeah, I got that one. I got this in recently.
Ah, yes.
Which is the classic white. I like it because you can just barely see the racing stripes. While I love the Yamaha design, those racing stripes kind of the blue one was like it's a cool color, but the racing stripes bum me out. And then I got this one, which is
very nice.
So yeah, those are since the last.
I can hear the 87 clicking on just by you holding up that guitar. It's like, oh yeah, just warming up. Yep. You want the red channel, right? Red channel.
Put me in, coach. Put me in. I'm ready.
Yep.
Yeah, I think those are the three that I've got since the last time I was on. Fun guitars, and I can't say that I play one more than the other. They all get pretty equal time here. So
nice. Symmetry's back. Awesome. Hey, John. He says, any lefties? Nope. Not unless I reverse my camera.
I have a couple of left-handed pedals.
Ooh, DMAC asks, any chance the broiler might reappear again?
There's a good chance that the broiler might make it into the production line. It sold very, very well, and everybody really, really liked it. So
I still need to get one of them myself. I realized the other day I was looking around for a D-style pedal, and I was like, oh crap, I've sold all my D-style pedals because every year and a half I need to revisit that sound. And there's Bent Tom in the chat. He says, also prefer a racing stripe to a full... Oh. I see what you did there, Tom.
And Brad, it's okay. It wasn't an insult. I knew what you meant.
I like that. Unbelievable says, what ideas does LPD have for future pedals I can ask without destroying my NDA?
Hey, that's a good question, and you guys can probably help me out a little bit. I've been working on the 55 Deluxe design.
Okay.
It needs a companion, right? I don't really think two 55s in one pedal is going to do it for that pedal. Sure, I could do it. It seems like I would be...
Well, what are you going to do? Like have it toggle the voice one way or the other on each side? Like, because you're not going to toggle headroom per se, I don't think.
Right. Like to do that, I mean, I could see setting one way and one the other and then going back and forth between them. But for me, two 55s and one enclosure is kind of phoning it in. So I've been trying to come up with ideas about what would be good complements to the 55. I've got a couple of prototypes that I've done that are fantastic with the 55 and fantastic on their own. So then I just have to decide, okay, is it something that I'm, what am I going to do with it? But I'm open to suggestions.
All right.
If y'all have
something I'm not normally a fan of, but would work, is one side being a boost.
Right.
Because
just straight up boost.
Because let's be honest, a lot of times when you're playing through that kind of an amp, you are just goosing it that much more, as opposed to a full 55 with an Embers. Other left.
Yeah. Right.
You know what? Yeah. Because that would
would
free
you
up
put the
so
embers,
much space on my pedal board.
what would you put the embers before or after the 55?
Before. Or you have the switch to
Yeah.
do either or. I don't know. That's your department. that's details. I like that though. The embers would work great.
Yeah.
Because the embers, you can work as a cleaner boost or a dirty boost or pure coloration and not boosting.
Yeah.
He says before. I like that.
Bent Tom says Lost Dutchman 55. I think Bent was Tom was late.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do this
Tom.
one. Okay, Tom.
There you go, Tom.
Mr.
Ah.
Shane says Lawrence does a lot. Did I steal your question, Ben? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was like, that's a good question.
Yeah, Lawrence does a lot of limited run pedals. What's the reasoning behind that? Twofold, actually. One, I love tinkering and designing new things, but I can't necessarily just keep putting new things out into the production line. It ends up building my line to where it's too big and too diffused and not focused enough, right? Even with what I have now with the four standards and the 4 deluxes, plus the CLE 304, that's still getting a little heavy in my opinion. So what I try to do is use the limiteds as an avenue for me to still be creative and get you guys new cool things that I might have come up with. A lot of times the limiteds are not necessarily completely original designs. They're my spin on other designs. Like the Lucent was kind of my twist on the Blues Breaker. The Lost Dutchman was kind of my twist on the Timmy. The Timmy meets Plexi kind of thing.
I have to play a damn Timmy pedal at some point because I'm so fallen in love with that circuit that I'm like, I don't know. Like, I want to just see comparison wise, but I agree. Or the Embers, which was my original idea of a signature pedal 2 years earlier, but you're like, nope, I don't want to clone something. And I went, okay, fine. And then it came out and I said, that's fine. That's my design, but that's fine.
And
hello to Steve Anderson, by the way. I saw Steve Anderson pop in.
Yeah. Plus, people really enjoy limited stuff. It's
it's a great test market too, right? Because if it does really well, like if it sells out in an hour, you start thinking, I might need to.
Well, and that's a great example of what happened with the Embers. The Embers will become a production pedal because it's the first run of 50 sold out in like 3 hours. And so I opened it up for another run of 50 and that sold out in the next 6 hours. So when something goes that good, you pay attention to it. So it'll be just a matter of time before it gets worked into the line. I don't know if it'll be this year. If not, it'll be early next year, probably.
Sure.
You'll see the Embers coming in. So
nice. And Blake says I can borrow his Timmy. Thank you. That's a perfect excuse to go to Nashville. Perfect excuse. Got to go try a pedal out.
Yeah.
Which, hey, I tried it the 68 with the last time I was in Nashville.
Yeah. At Carter's, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounded great through a Silverface Vibrolux, just saying. And then I was told to turn down, which I grudgingly did. Which was hilarious, too, because being Carter's, Aaron's like, what guitar do you want? Make it sound Rockstar. I'm like, any CBS era Telly will be fine. He's like, done. Nice, Tom. Ember straight into a 45-100 head. Yes, ma'am. Yep. He likes his Metropolis heads. Paul Ewing wants the DCMD to return.
Yeah, Paul brings that up to me frequently.
Yeah.
He loves that pedal. You know what's interesting is I think I only made 5 of those. Because they were super difficult to build and keep quiet. There's enough gain in that circuit, especially in the high mode, that it'll oscillate pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping it to where it would behave well was kind of a struggle. But yeah, I may have to revisit that one. And he said he would be plenty fine without the high gain mode, I think is what he said. So that may solve my problem.
Mark Taft says, Ben, ever since you got your Lost Dutchman, I've wanted one, Lawrence. That Lost Dutchman is a very sweet pedal. Yep. Literally every time he hears that pedal, he comes over, he's like, play the Lost. He says, I'll never have one of those. They're so hard to find. I'm like, they are hard to find, but maybe once a year you see one in one of its iterations come up on the used market.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in more than a year. I haven't seen one come up.
I think Tom's bought them all. I think he's got 2 or 3 at this point. Nice. Mad Raj finally got a 74 Deluxe. That's another one I still need to snag up.
Nice.
Because, Lawrence called it. Because I had the 74, and I said, I have a chance to trade for this other pedal. And he says, it's a decent pedal, but you're going to be going meh. And literally did. Yeah, you're right. You're so right. But that's okay. It flipped into something else.
They always do, right?
Yeah. Okay, Tom only has 2. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
Only 2.
He would go for 3, though. Yeah. Tom's got my hand-built germanium fuzz face.
Yes.
With the chrome, the polished aluminum enclosure.
Ooh. L. Scott Musgas, have you ever considered a tube pedal design or a transformer-based design?
Yeah, for the tube pedal thing, yeah, I've got probably a half dozen tube pedal designs that if I could find a way to make them litigation proof, I would probably bring them to market. I don't believe tubes should be run at low voltages, so there's 300 volts inside of a pedal. That's it's a little questionable. So you spill beer on 300 volts, shit happens.
Yep. It makes for an excellent light show for a second.
Yes.
Or 2.
and then no one has lights.
Yeah. That fuzz face will be buried with me. What's up, Presley?
That was a good one. The trannies in that Tom are nice. I really, really like those. As far as the transformer pedal, the main issue for me with the with running a transformer in a pedal, besides just the marketing pizzazz, is driving the transformer hard enough to actually get the goods out of it. So yeah, I've a couple of designs I've tinkered with that basically do that, but considered it. Transformers, good transformers. If granted, if you're just going to overdrive them, you don't necessarily need a good transformer, a Jensen or anything like that. But good iron is kind of pricey, so that plays into it as well.
That's true. And T. Ricky says he's still on the lookout. He wants one of these, the original logo.
The Vermin. Those are hard to find. RJ sold his recently, didn't he?
I think RJ did sell his. There's only 2 in existence with gold knobs. Just saying.
Yeah.
Mine was the only one in existence with gold knobs, and Laz insisted. He said, I gotta have it with gold knobs like Ben's. And Lawrence, being a nice guy, said, sure. I went, fine. Mine's not as unique as it once was, but that's fine.
Well, first of two. It's one of two, not
Yep.
two of two, right? Yeah.
That's right.
I saw a couple of questions.
LRM says, is the 55 based on a Tweed, 68 a Plexi, 74 ? 87 JCM?
Yes. The 74 is the early, late metal face Plexi, early master volume, and then the 87 is a modded JCM 800 and a Jose modded Plexi. Yeah, it will get pretty close to a stock JCM, but it doesn't have. JCM 800s have this funky, huge sub bass to them. They're super bass heavy, but in the really low sub frequencies. And the 87 doesn't have that.
There we go. Brad Miller has a OG Vermin. Nice.
What unfucking believable says for Lawrence, you're playing the local small festival one night and the large stage
Enorma
Dome. The next. What amps and pedals for each? Small stage, I would probably do a Fender combo and 68, 87 for dirt, depending on, maybe it's 55 too. Definitely the CLE 304 for the squish, and to carve it so it sounds good in the room. Yeah, for the amp, yeah, probably like a Fender Princeton would work fine, or as a Lux. For that, something just clean and use it as a pedal platform, probably.
I would use the same rig for both and let the sound man figure it out.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing that would change if I was doing the Enorma Dome would probably be I'd probably take my the last tube amp head that I built for myself, which is I called it Trinity, three channel tube thing. It's funny. I think I've told you about this amp, Ben. It's what I did was I gutted an old Trainer YBA1,
right?
And I kept the iron. I used the iron, but everything else inside is LPD. I'll probably use that because it's louder. And then, and since it's already got plenty of gain, I would probably just use a boost pedal or the CLE 304.
Nice.
Yeah,
I dig it. What amps do you test your pedals through? Richard asks.
Excellent question. I have 3. Well, actually 4. The main one that I use, believe it or not, is this little Crate 20 watt. It's kind of like the crappy near field monitors that recording studios have, right? If it sounds good through those, it'll sound good through anything. So I use that as kind of the make or break test. And then I also put it through the amp I was just talking about, through a 412 and my Princeton combo. And then I'll run it. I also run the pedals in front of the Axe Effects as well, to see how they behave with the modeler. Try to cut across as many platforms as possible. Some things are more revealing for problems than others. Sometimes you just don't hear it on one set of speakers. They'll mask it or whatever. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, different amps have different tone stacks, and they move like say moving those frequencies around. You may not notice something on one, like say you hear on something else.
Yeah, maybe the pedal behaves well in a Fender with the scooped mids, but as soon as you put it into a Marshall, it becomes honky and sounds like a cocked wah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like when I put a tube screamer into my pedal rig, it sounded like I had a cocked wah because I'm already pushing so many mids. Then it was just all the mids.
Yeah, that's actually why the tube screamer works so well with the Fenders, right?
Yep.
It fills in the mid scoop.
Oh, Boomer's getting his 5060s Pine repaired. Pick up tomorrow. Nice. Will you tweak a circuit to be more modeler amp friendly?
Yeah, depending on how egregious it is to begin with, right? Most I find, at least with the Axe effects, that there's not a huge difference between it and a real amp, with the exception that you can't overdrive the input. Like on a tube amp or even a solid state amp, you can hit the input harder and get cooler, nice sounds out of it. Whereas if you hit the input of a modeler too hard, you just get digital distortion, and that nobody likes that.
No, unless you're doing shoegaze, and then it might work for you. And
yeah,
people
well,
like this isn't
true.
right.
Yeah, because there are some styles out there that are into the 8-bit thing, and the digital distortion gets kind of close to that. So yeah, there's something for everyone, right? That's
interesting. Paul's asking, have you heard of Color Tone Parasite Overdrive made by a guy in Australia? Marshall in a box, even has a switch to bring in the 412 thump.
I haven't. I'll have to look into those.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Hey, Nelson, good to see you. He says, far out. I made it in time. Yes, you did. Else got music. What about pedal platform amps? My Sin 30 combo has a high headroom clean channel that is for that. But is it really best for pedals? Personally, that's what I look for. All the headroom clean, because all I want that thing to do is act like a power amp, essentially, as much as I know.
Yeah, and that's it just depends on what you want your amp to do. Some guys like to use pedals with an amp that's set edge of breakup or already slightly breaking up, and that's a completely different vibe than pedal platform. Generally, pedal platform is like a clean Fender, some kind of mid-scooped, very clean, but still has some power amp give to it, right? So you still get the sponginess. It just depends on what you're kind of going for.
And I will say, yes, they're great for coloring a totally clean or transparent amp, Lauren.
Yeah,
for sure. That's why I keep looking down. And I've got my 55, Luster, and 87 all together because that's my preamp section. The overdrive's in front of that, and I'm into that. Hey, Richard Knoll, good to see you. Unbelievable. So, dual flanger coming soon. I think Unbelievable started drinking at this point in the evening.
Yeah. Well, yes, it kind of sounds like that. Now he's just flinging things. Why not
until I bagged him for a stereo chorus. Unbelievable.
Why not a triple flanger?
Why not? Yeah, we do a tri-chorus. Why not a tri-flange? I don't know.
Right? Can you have too much flange?
No. Well,
I have to say my favorite flanger is actually the Boss
BF2.
Yes.
I just put mine back up on the shelf today.
Yeah, I rarely ever used it as a sweeping flanger, but it's got the manual setting where you can set it, and so many of the 80s sounds are that particular thing. It's just got that slight notch filter to it that doesn't move. Yeah. And there's only one way to get that sound.
Yep. That's the way. Yeah. I even run. That's how because I run an always on chorus, but it has next to no rate. It's almost sitting still.
Yeah.
And it just makes it sound fuller. What's up, Ty Hub? Double Moon by Matt Professor has multiple flanger settings. Awesome. Interesting. Okay. I like it. Randy Crooks comments, I have a Fender Bass Breaker 15 combo and a Hot Rod Deluxe 40 combo. Great pedal platforms. Great pedal platforms indeed.
Yes. The Bass Breaker, that's funny. Fender, I think they messed up naming the Bass Breaker because it gives the wrong impression. Those amps are really wonderful, wonderful amps. I really enjoyed the 5-watt.
Mm-hmm.
There's that little 5-watt kick series butt.
Tom's waving the unified flag too. Yeah, the Sabatius vibes are nice, I will say.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's something, he does a thing and does it well.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, now I see Steve Stevens is using one, and
yeah, he
great.
makes he makes a very great pedal, right? His product, and he obviously puts a lot of time into it too.
Yep.
Ty says that 68 Deluxe is a blast to play. Thanks, Ty. Grant, I'm really happy you're enjoying that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Richard says the small was the 7-watt, not the 5-watt. Okay.
Right. Well, that's probably why it sounds so good, because it was 7 instead of 5 watts.
7. 7's my lucky number, actually.
How about a dual gain distortion pedal that mimics a front cabinet mic and a rear cab mic with a blend control? That almost sounds more of a cab sim as much as anything else.
True. Now, if you're talking about an open back cabinet, you won't get too much sound if you blend those two together because they're 180 degrees out of phase. But it might be cool if you blended them, 30-70 or something like that. Now, if it's closed back, then you could probably get a similar thing to that just by putting like a sub frequency switch, because most of the frequency that comes off the back of the cab is just super low sub frequencies.
Well, Tom's just saying the 68 circuit sounds so real compared to his real 71.
Nice.
And I believe him, because Tom wouldn't lie.
I hope so.
Yeah. We'll go a few more minutes here, folks. If you have any last minute questions, get them on in. Low, yep. Yeah, I got a service an amplifier. I went to turn on my B52 today and nothing happened. I don't know. I don't know. Jewel light went out a year ago. Reverb stopped working the same time the Jewel light went out, which I'm convinced are attached somehow circuit wise. I don't know why they would be, but and then I went to turn it on today, and of course it's got 2 amps sitting on top of it, so I didn't pull it out. Unbelievable has the first Dutch and a couple lost. Well, now we have 2 people claiming they have the first Dutch.
Well, he may have the unnumbered one or the proto.
That's true.
Which technically came before the numbers. So
yeah,
hard to say.
Yeah, if there's a name instead of a number, that's how you kind of know.
Or only a date. Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Terry, for putting links in there.
Yeah, thanks, Terry.
Everyone should definitely sign up for the email newsletter. Comes out once or twice a month. Valuable info like coupon codes and limited runs.
Yep. And the coupon code's good till midnight my time. So if you want to
couple more hours,
plenty of time.
Nice.
Fuzz plus 7-band EQ.
That would be interesting. Now that's a shoegaze pedal, because you're dialing in. I need certain frequencies of noise coming in. That fuzz would definitely have to have a bias control, I'm thinking. I need this frequency spitting out.
So Ben, you have a Soleil, right?
I do.
So do you have a 7-band EQ? Do you have a GE7?
No, I don't have a GE7, but I do have. What do I have? Unbelievable. He sent me an EQ. I have a Joyo EQ, which I think is the knockoff of the MXR EQ.
You may have to do some
Try
experimenting.
that. Yeah. Yep. Special video just for you, Ryan. What happens with an EQ and a fuzz? Yep. Hey, it's an excuse to use a Strat in a video. That's all I'm saying.
It'd be a good video.
Yeah, the fuzz I didn't know I was going to get until I got it and went, dang it, that's a good circuit. I need that in my life. Like, come on. I believe that's what it was. Come on. I don't even like this circuit, and I like it. Come on.
I hate fuzz. I don't have this pedal.
Yeah. Just build the reverb and send it to Brad. Or build another fuzz and send it to Brad. That's what it was. Before the reverb went on the tour and Brad taunted me about it. That's fine. What dream pedal would you like to build that you know would be awesome? Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have. I don't know that I have an answer for that. Probably a multi-channel tube pedal. Realistically, I would love to be able to get my tube designs out there because they sound honestly really, really good. So that would probably be it. Something that's got glass inside of it.
Mm-hmm. Is the Soleil silicon?
It is. It is. It's a BC 108 and a BC 109.
A granular synth pedal. Interesting. Okay. What pedal do you think has reached overkill and flooded in the market? I don't know. Do we need another Tube Screamer clone?
The Tube Screamer is pretty popular.
Muffs.
Fuzzes. There are so many fuzzes. And granted, every fuzz is different. And the guys that love fuzz, they're way into the little details between the different fuzzes. I think the clone market, the clone is
It's a lot of those.
Hit saturation.
Soul food is popular here in Louisiana. Speaking of clones. Dan, New Jersey just reports in. Germanium and I don't get along.
Yeah. They can be finicky.
Yeah, I don't want anything that's temperature sensitive. No thanks. What are you doing with the hairdryer? Just trying to get my tone. Just got to heat up the pedal, get my tone.
Why do you have
there's Elvis Band.
Hey, Aaron.
Ooh, your recommendation for a multi-switcher for your pedals.
I really like the it's a MIDI switcher. I can't remember the name of it, but I see it on a lot of pros boards where you can actually set presets. It's got 16 different loops, and I don't have a name of one though, sorry.
Maybe he's hinting he just wants you to build him a looper.
Possibly.
A straight analog looper would be easy, right? It's just a lot of jacks and switches. Yeah. But those digital ones were
very difficult to do presets though with the analog ones. Yeah.
I need a pure analog one myself because my idea is so I can have basically just pedal boards all going into each loop. So I can have my option of 5 overdrives or 5 choruses or 5 phasers. It's all part of the Mega Board project. Try to cut down on the noise. That's all I'm doing there. It's just trying to cut down some noise.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the most satisfying part of a pedal's life for you? The idea, the build, or the popularity? That's a good question, John.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's probably I wouldn't say equal parts that, but it gets pretty close. Designing is probably my favorite part. Coming up with something that I think is going to be cool and then putting it through all the different stages of making it a reality. The build can be the most challenging part, just because some things that work on the breadboard don't work on the circuit board. But generally those things you can overcome. The popularity is kind of the that's kind of, you know, a verification that your idea and your execution was good, right? If you did if you did all your job right, and the pedal sells well, it's very popular. It's kind of confirmation of that. So I kind of have to put it all equal parts, pretty much. Maybe 50, 25, 25, because I really do love the design.
I just think like the build for me would be figuring out that design coming to fruition, which would be like it's alive, perfect, you know.
Yeah.
And then popularity, that's hey, I'm not crazy. Yeah, people like that stuff.
You love me. You really love me.
Exactly. But that's a great question. On that note, we should probably wrap things up. And again, if you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. Keep an eye on it because cool stuff comes up. Some limited run stuff, it's gone by the time the newsletter's out. Just saying. Or once the newsletter's out, I should say. Not by the time. But usually, yeah. So definitely. Been an awesome time, Lawrence. Thank you for coming on. We won't wait so long next time. You know, now we've got something sussed out, which is good. And you're not trying to build a pedal empire and renovate your home at the same time.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And thank you so much for having me back on, Ben.
Yes, definitely. We'll definitely do it again. Again, folks, tomorrow night, Canucks with Guitars with Trev and Terry and myself. Tim Pierce is now Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And this coming Sunday, we've got RJ Ronquillo. And the next Monday, Michael Nielsen, because apparently I don't have a life and I just like talking to people about gear. Well, that's true on both fronts. Even if I had a life, I'd just be talking about gear with more people. That's how that works. Awesome that everybody tuned in tonight. And again, we'll be back tomorrow. So hold those doors open. Hold the line, Lawrence. Let Boomer ahead of you in traffic. He's got to go pick up that Pine amp tomorrow. We want to hear that quality Canadian content. And be good to each other. Happy tone chasing, and tone chasing. It's easier to chase the tone if you have some of his stuff. I'm just saying. I'm speaking from experience. It's helped me out considerably. And of course, don't litter because that's just wrong. Just don't.
Why do you scream at me? Why do you think that it's free? It's not a choice made by me. Won't you fall soon?